자, 그러면은 게임을 한번 시작해 보도록 하겠습니다. 게임 시작! 냠냠냠 핫클립!
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
잊지 못할
He had been
일이요?
at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
이거
Never
왕따
in
당하는
all
거
his
아니야?
years
이게
at the company
신기한
had
경험인
this
거야?
happened. This complete isolation.
그냥 왕따
Something
당하는
was very
거잖아.
clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
이거 그냥 사내
But as he
왕따
came to
당하는
his wits
거잖아.
and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
회의실이 어딘데? 회의실이 어딘지 알려주고 회의실을 가라고 해야지. 회의실도 안 알려주고 회의실 가라고 하면은 내가 어떻게 알아? 나레이터 말을 왜 듣는 거지? 몰라.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
왼쪽이요?
This was not the correct way to the
듣는데요.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
잘
Perhaps he
알아요.
wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
휴게실이요? 감탄하려고요? 휴게실에 뭐 대단한 게 있나요? 휴게실에다 뭐 금이라도 숨겨놨나?
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
어쩌라는 거야? 내가 왜 가만히 있어야 되는데. 게임에서
But
가만히
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
열려있는 첫 번째 문? 여기로 들어가라고요?
No.
싫어, 어두워. 오.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
뭐야 갑자기 꼽주네? 야! 나 그래도 나름 우수 사원이거든? 끼고 있어. 지 말 안 들었다고. 안 잘린 게 신기하대. 뭐 말을 저런 식으로 해? 어이가 없네.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
베려
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really?
노벨이는 말 안 듣는데요.
Now listen carefully, this is important.
중요하다고?
Stanley walked through the red door.
왜요? 아니 이게 나레이션 겁나 웃긴 게 뭔지 알아? 왜 들어가야 되는지 알려주지도 않으면서 자꾸 들어가래. 아니 왜 들어가야 되는지는 알려주고 들어가라고 해야 되는 거 아니야? 그리고 여러분들 아시죠? 빨간 약은 안 됩니다. 빨간 약 우리 먹으면은 안 돼. 우리는 빨간 약 먹으면은 안 되기 때문에 우리는 파란 약을 먹도록 하겠습니다.
No. Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
미안한데 아저씨, 그렇다고 해도 나는 빨간 약을 먹을 수 없어.
No. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
아 빨간 약 먹으면 안 된다고. 빨간 약 먹으면 애들한테 혼난단 말이야. 나 빨간 약 못 먹는다고.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
저기 뭐
Was it worth
있는데?
ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
아저씨
Do you not
시끄럽고.
think I put a lot of time into that?
아저씨
Because I did.
시끄럽고 저기
And
뭐
in the end,
있는데?
it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback.
끝난 거야? 이번엔 아저씨 말 한번 들어볼까?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
왼쪽으로 들어가라고? 나 아저씨의 착한 어린이가 되어볼게.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
그러게요. 아무것도 없네요. 왜 아무것도 없지? 뭔가 있을 것 같은데. 이상하네.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
아저씨가 그렇게 말하니까 또 나 아저씨의 착한 어린이가 되어볼게. 나가려고 했는데 그런 말을
It was
해가지고.
baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
아니 나가려고 했는데 아저씨가 꼽줬잖아. 약간 그런 거지. 나 숙제 하려고 했는데 엄마가 너 숙제 안 하고 또 뭐 해 해가지고 아 나 방금 숙제 하려고 했는데 엄마가 그거 말해가지고 내가 숙제 안 하는 거잖아. 약간 이런 느낌이죠? 좀
Stanley was fat
꼽줬잖아.
and really, really stupid. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now.
갑자기 내가 죽었다고요?
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical melody of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
아니 여기 키보드가 없는데 어떻게
Situation
머리를
like this,
박아요?
The responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
응? 응, 안 나가. 절대 안 나가. 절대 안 나가죠? 꼬우세요? 꼬우시냐고요?
여러분은 별장이 방종 안 하고 내일 아침 퇴근할 거라는 말을 들으셨습니다.
아니야, 나갈게.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
와 정말 대단하다. 말 잘 듣고 여기까지 왔는데 결과는 아무도 없다는 엔딩인 거예요, 아저씨?
What dark secret was being held from him?
뭐
What he could
어둠의
not have known
비밀이에요.
was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
아 진짜 아저씨 말 잘 듣기 너무 힘들다.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
정신 지배요? 뭐
What he
어둠의
could not have known was that the
비밀이에요.
keypad The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
뭐야 이게?
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
이게 뭔데? 쫄로 가라고?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
와 근데
And
아무도
Stanley,
없어.
one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's
주고
control
일시키는
all this
건가?
time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his
아빠,
boring
큰일
job?
났어!
That his
우리
emotions
영업기밀
had been
들통났어!
manipulated
아빠,
to accept
어떡해!
it blindly? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
끝내라고? 노벨이는 말 안 듣는데요.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
이제 이 세상은 내가
I
지배한다.
really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much
이제
that
세상은
machine can
내가
do.
지배한다.
You were supposed to
모두들
let
나의
it go.
밑에
Turn the
무릎을 꿇고
controls
정수리를 보여
off
나에게
and
복종의 의미를
If you want to throw
보여라.
my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For
정수리를
example,
보여라,
and
이
I believe
녀석들!
you'll find this pertinent.
나에게 복종의
Stanley
의미로
suddenly
정수리를
realized he
보여라.
had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
자폭이요?
How long until
망했네?
detonation then?
도망가!
Let's say 2 minutes. Choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
얘들아, 나 폭탄에 죽는 꿈을 꿨어. 게임
When
이제
Stanley
켰다고?
came to a set of
에이크 여기가 노벨피아도 아니고 왜 폭탄이 터지게.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling
얘들아,
a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
이상하다.
boss's office,
나 분명
hoping he
처음
might find
보는데
an
왜
answer
이렇게 이
there.
글귀들이 다 익숙하지? 뭔가 다 읽어본 것 같은 기분이야. 멀리 가.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
싫어, 안 올라갈래. 올라가면 안 될 기분이야. 뭔가 강하게 올라가지 말라고 얘기하고 있어.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
저
And then something
사퇴하겠습니다.
occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For
아저씨
example,
시끄러!
why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his
아저씨,
tongue.
그거 말해도
He
되는 거
just
맞아?
hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. While he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. Could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his
맞아,
eyes
이건
gently,
꿈이야.
and he invited himself to wake up.
이건 꿈일
He
거야.
felt the cool weight of the blanket on his
이건
skin,
꿈이야.
the press of the mattress on
이건
his back.
꿈이야.
My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
빨리
I
빨리
am
빨리
okay.
꿈아 빨리.